Every family has a breaking point, a single event that reveals the hidden structural flaws beneath the surface. For this family, the fracture began with a death and ended with a departure. At 17, a young girl was finally navigating the complexities of her father's passing. Though he had been absent for most of her life, they had spent the previous 2 years actively rebuilding their connection. The logistics of the farewell were straightforward. The funeral was scheduled 8 days away, hosted by her grandmother in Canada, only a 2-hour drive from where the girl lived with her mother and stepfather. On paper, the logistics of the trip were simple, but this short distance would quickly become the primary fault line in a battle over the legitimacy of her grief. When the mother broke the news of the father's death, she did so with a startling lack of warmth, approaching a life-altering tragedy as if it were a minor household update. As her daughter naturally broke down, the mother didn't offer a shoulder. She offered a correction, telling her to calm down and accusing her of being hysterical. Here we see the normal path of mourning. When a person's pain is met with a demand for silence, that path is blocked. Denied an outlet, grief is forced inward, creating a cycle of suppressing one's needs to keep peace. This initial interaction serves as a warning. It establishes a dynamic where the daughter's loss is viewed not as a tragedy to be shared, but as a disruption to be managed. A few days later, the daughter approached her mother to coordinate the drive to Canada. She assumed the funeral was a non-negotiable family event. The response was a laugh. Her mother physically laughed at the idea of making the trip, treating the funeral as a joke. She told her daughter they would be giving that one a miss, as if a father's burial was an optional social invitation that could be politely declined. The mother's reasoning prioritized the comfort of the rest of the house, claiming the girl's sister and stepfather would be bored by the service. The daughter tried to compromise, offering to take the train alone so no one else would be inconvenienced. The rejection was immediate and sharp. The mother didn't just say no, she attempted to delete the last 2 years of history, snapping that the daughter and father weren't even close, directly contradicting the reality of their rebuilt bond. By rewriting these facts, the mother attempted to strip the daughter of her justification for mourning, making the girl's desire to attend the funeral look like an overreaction rather than a necessity. The situation reached its boiling point during a routine family dinner. The final insult arrived when the mother proposed a different weekend plan, a horse riding competition for the younger sister. She expected the daughter to trade her father's funeral for a spectator seat at a local trophy show. This proposal attempts to completely replace a milestone of grief with a trivial distraction, essentially signaling that the family's hobby carries more weight than the daughter's loss. The daughter finally hit her limit. She called her mother a toxic name and made a clear declaration. She would be at that funeral, with or without her family's support. While the language was aggressive, the outburst marked a shift. It was the moment the daughter stopped trying to negotiate within her mother's framework and chose to act independently. The teenager left that night. She spent the next 48 hours with her boyfriend, putting distance between herself and the dinner table ultimatum. Her plans are now set. She is taking the train to Canada early, reclaiming the opportunity to grieve with her grandmother on her own terms. Back at home, the mother's demeanor has shifted. The dismissive laughter has been replaced by crying voicemails and a constant stream of texts pleading for a conversation. This diagram tracks a common shift in power. When the daughter was home, the mother used dismissal to stay in control, but once the daughter left and secured her own transportation, that control was lost, triggering frantic attempts to regain it through emotional appeals. The daughter is learning a difficult lesson. Being family doesn't always mean being an ally. Sometimes the people who raised you are the ones most likely to ignore your pain if it inconveniences their schedule. When a parent mocks your grief to protect their own comfort, they break a fundamental trust. In that moment, where does the obligation to family end and the duty to protect your own heart begin?